Hello and welcome to Africa Event Connect. I'm your host, Projeni Pather, and together we will be exploring the people, the ideas, and the leadership shaping the future of the events industry in Africa. Now, the exhibitions and events industry has always been dynamic, right? But right now, change feels constant. We're navigating shifting client expectations, tighter budgets, evolving audiences, new technologies like AI, and teams who are being asked to deliver more now need to be faster and often with fewer resources. Now, in an industry built on people, pressure, and performance, leadership has never mattered more. My guest today works at the intersection of leadership, communication, service excellence, and change, and her insights feel especially relevant for where our industry finds itself right now. Now, Pamela Robinson is a global speaker, a corporate trainer, and leadership facilitator with more than 15 years' experience supporting organizations across hospitality, healthcare, corporate, and customer-facing industries. She has worked across the Caribbean, Asia, and North America and brings a powerful blend of strategy, psychology, and real-world leadership experience. Now, Pamela recently delivered an impactful talk at IMEX in Las Vegas, The Soul of Service, Leadership, AI, and Human Touch. Now, that strongly resonates with the challenges and opportunities facing our events industry today. So, Pamela, a warm welcome to you. It's really wonderful to have you in South Africa and have you on the show with us today.
Oh, thank you so much. It's like a full circle moment here with you today. Thank you for having me.
We are so grateful for your time, and we can't hear your perspective on the changes that are happening within this industry. Let's start with, we're talking exhibition and events specifically. I know you work through different sectors, but now we're exploring change in this particular sector. That's the exhibition and the events industry. Now, in this sector, as you know as well, coming from that hospitality background, we're constantly navigating uncertainty, right? There's lots of economic pressure and client expectations are changing, and there's workforce challenges, and obviously rapid technological change as well. And so from your perspective, what are the biggest mind shifts that leaders in the exhibition and event industry need to make in order to effectively go through this ongoing change? What are some of them that we can look at?
I think first and foremost, our events and meeting sector, leadership, everyone involved need to understand that change is not disruption. Mm-hmm. Change is here to stay. It's the only constant. And the sooner we, and I say we because I am also in the event space as a speaker.
Of course, yes.
And I believe that the sooner we embrace change, the faster we will get it. The better we will equip ourselves, and not just ourselves as leaders, but also our teams, our exhibitors, and everyone involved in the meeting and event space. Be prepared for change.
That is so true. Be prepared for change. That's true. When change becomes constant, right, like you're saying, there is this constant, the world is constantly changing. The environment is constantly changing. How do leaders avoid operating actually in survival mode?
Survival mode is very exhausting. And one of the ways that leaders can avoid operating in survival mode is to be more creative. Mm-hmm. Another way is to be intentional. Now leaders need to be intentional in order for things to work out in the business place. And it does not matter what sector you're in, being purposeful and intentional is key. Also being innovative, because as we're saying here, everything is changing on a day-to-day basis. I mean, let's go back to COVID. Look at how quickly, at the snap of a finger, everything changed in the blink of an eye. And leaders who are prepared for change, to be able to see the glitter of hope in that situation, to be able to see change as opportunity and not as a threat, will survive, not in survival mode, but in a successful mode.
Absolutely. I love that, because change is an opportunity. And it's so easy to fall into fear because of change. And it so easily spreads within an organization.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Because we are born with fear. The moment we start moving, we are always afraid of something.
Yes.
Even as a child, whether it's being afraid of falling down or we're always living in that mode of fear. And in that industry, we need to be able, and fear will always be there, but it's how we embrace it, how we see it, and how we move forward, reframing uncertainty for growth.
Reframing uncertainty for growth. I love that. I think we should frame that. Uncertainty is the opportunity for growth.
It is.
Like you said, constant change. Change results in opportunities.
It does. I mean, I can share a personal story.
Yes, please do.
At the age of 25, I started my very first business and it failed miserably. Although my mom had warned me against it, with my optimistic mind, I figured, you know what? I will go into it anyway. But I can't begin to share with you the lessons that I learned molded me into the leader that I am today.
Yes.
And if I had gone into it afraid,
Yes.
I probably would not have seen the opportunities, the leadership skills, from decision making to leading with empathy that I learned, which prepared me for leadership roles later in life.
Absolutely. Stepping stones.
Stepping stones, yes.
Stepping stones,
yes.
right. So let's move on to, leading in a high pressure environments, which sometimes change throws us into. And especially in exhibition events industry, it's very deadline driven. People intensive, because we have to rely on our people to deliver, and it's often very emotionally charged, these kind of environments. And so the pressure is high, the plans are changing quickly, and the teams, they're all expected to perform at this consistently high level, right? So in your experience, how can effective leadership today differ from what leadership looked like 10 years ago, right? Particularly in this events and hospitality industry. How can we assist the situation when our teams are working in these high pressured environments as leaders? How has our roles changed from 10 years ago to now?
This is a great question. It's about adaptability, emotional intelligence, and collaboration. As we keep saying, the word of the day is change.
Yeah.
And in terms of leading with a heart, you are in a very high pressure environment. And it's very easy for us to fall in a place where we're constantly putting pressure, not just on ourselves, but also on our team members. This is the time I say that you need to incorporate the forward framework. And that means to pause, take a step back, ask yourself, am I doing the right thing? Why should I be pressuring my team members? Take a moment to inhale and exhale. Then choose. Choose courageously, knowing that the choice you're making in that situation with your team members is the right one. Not a choice of pressure, but a choice for progress. And then lead. Lead with clarity. Lead in a way that will inspire your team members to follow, not be even more pressured. Because like you're saying, when you're hosting an event, the pressure is on.
Yeah.
From the deadlines to the thank you letters to making sure that your exhibitors are on time, everyone has paid their dues. So there's a lot of pressure going on.
Yeah.
And so incorporating the forward framework instead of a pressure framework, you're moving to a place of success as opposed to a place of pressure. Emotional intelligence, I love talking about that, leading from the heart. Too many times as leaders, we place emphasis on leading with our heads. And so we're not thinking from a place of love.
Right.
Because if you are leading from a place of love where emotional intelligence comes in, you're more compassionate.
Yes.
You're more empathetic. You realize that we are all human beings owning this space together.
And can I throw in there
Sure.
that you are actually listening? Because previously, if I looked at leadership, when there's change, when there's challenges, we are reactive, right? And you have a plan in your head, but leading with empathy and leading with that, with your heart, allows you to listen to your people, right? Allows you to pause and not be reactive. Is that right?
You are very right. Okay. So I definitely agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more, because it's not just about delivering events, but sustaining our team's energy.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and that is so important because, like we say, we work in a people-intense environment. We're not selling products and services that you can touch. We're not selling you a battery that we're handing over the counter. We're selling a service.
That's correct.
And
we're selling experiences.
Yes, and that's service-driven industry. Okay, so now, the main thing that I see currently all around me that affecting this atmosphere of change, this environment of change, and that's making it a little bit challenging and instilling a bit of fear in the people within the industry is obviously AI and technology, especially when we're living in an industry, working in an industry where the human touch is so important, right? Now, one of your recent talks, was entitled The Soul of Service, Leadership, AI, and the Human Touch, right? And that concept for me feels especially relevant for our industry, especially because we work in such a service-related human experience industry. So whilst we're embracing AI and technology, from registration systems and data analytics and market automation, all of those kind of things, events are still fundamentally human experiences. We are creating an experience that will make you feel connected to a brand, a company, a philosophy, an idea. So how do leaders strike this balance between embracing all this new technology that's now coming in and preserving that human connection? Because that's what gives us meaningful events, right?
Yes. And in order to have meaningful events, leaders definitely need to strike that balance. And they need to see AI, artificial intelligence, as an enabler, as an enhancer, and not as a threat. And only when we start seeing AI as an enhancer, as my favorite thing to say, see AI as the backstage crew.
I love that.
And us as leaders, because there's nothing, and I say nothing, that can replace the human connection. Events is about experience. Yes. It's not about systems. It's not about ticking check boxes, which AI is very good at. And trust me, AI is here to stay. So we need to start seeing it as an enhancer, to enhance what we are already doing. Even with registration, help us with registration and, data and everything else. But for the human connection, the soul of service, we need the human touch.
Right. And I'm assuming that would be your answer to my question as what will never be automated in great service?
Obviously.
The human
connection. The human touch.
Yeah. That is so true. And I think because that's what connects us as people.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
If I may share with you,
Please do.
there is the Hotel Plaza in New York. And do you know they are now offering robotic massage hands
Okay.
for massages?
And is it people are doing it?
People are doing it, but the feedback is that nothing can replace the human touch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you imagine having plastic hands over your body?
No.
I mean, you can't even begin to compare it with the touch of a human hand.
Completely so. Completely so. I mean, even at a, when you go to the reception desk at a hotel, to be greeted by a person. And I would hate to see that replaced one day by a robot because, yes, we can automate a lot of things at that desk, but it is that initial connection that leaves that lasting impression.
Very true.
And says so much about that institution or establishment, right?
Very true. And even whilst as a guest, you're at a hotel, you've probably had a problem or a concern. Can you imagine a robot dealing with your concern? I always say, as when I was a general manager managing 5-star boutique hotels, I always said to my employees, we have 2 prime times to be on stage. And that's first, upon arrival,
Yes.
and second, upon departure. You will be surprised how much you can change a guest who's had a horrible time.
Yes.
You still have that opportunity at departure to make it worthwhile, to change that guest's mind. And imagine having a robot come in to say goodbye. I mean, where is the special touch?
Absolutely. And talking of that, now, I mean, you do come from that hospitality and events background where service excellence isn't a nice to have, right? It's actually a competitive advantage, right, in that industry. Now, if we look at today's exhibition and event landscape, what does true service excellence look like? I mean, it's not just for the attendees, but also for the exhibitors, the sponsors, the speakers, the suppliers, your internal teams. There's so many stakeholders involved.
It's a holistic approach. It's about speakers feeling that they are supported. It's about exhibitors feeling that they got value for their money. It's a holistic approach. It's a package experience where everyone feels seen and heard.
That is so important. Yeah. And I think we sometimes take that for granted, being seen and heard. We sign up our exhibitors, we sign up our clients, we execute the event. And it's always, for me, being in this industry for over 20 years now, it's all about how you make people feel, right? And technology does not make you feel, but that personal human touch, like we said again, going back to the service that you offer, the acknowledgement of your presence, the time and effort that you took to be here. I've came across this term, we talk about return on investment all the time. So everybody wants a return on investment when they participate in our exhibitions and events, and that's what their main objectives are. But a bigger term to look at, or a different term, is return on time. Because what we're asking for from our exhibitors and our attendees is your time. We're asking you to invest your time. And what do you get in return for that time?
Well, I also see time as an investment.
Exactly.
And everyone wants to make sure that the investment pays off.
Yeah.
Whether it's money, whether it's time, maybe it's intangible, maybe it's tangible. We all want to make sure that our investment pays off.
Yeah.
And it's like we're saying, it's not about ticking check boxes. No. It's not about systems. Events, it's about the human connection. It's about the face-to-face collaboration. It's about meeting each other and greeting each other in the hallway. It's just the basic things that brings us back to the human connection and the human touch. The heart of service, the soul of service. Nothing can replace the human connection.
So do you think service experience could be trained? Or do you think it requires like a mindset shift first? Do you think we can train people into service excellence?
It's a combination of both. But I believe everything starts with the mind. It's about our attitude, how we approach our day to day. And as I always say, even to my friends, the way I treat you, it's not about me. It's what's happening from inside. And so service excellence is a collaborative approach from our mindset to our attitude. And I can't begin to share with you how much I have experienced service excellence in South Africa. Everyone I meet, from the housekeeper to the server at the restaurant, and I need to ask that question, maybe a counter question. Is everyone trained in service excellence, or is it a mindset shift? Is everyone programmed in South Africa to treat the tourists? And I am thinking that they treat each other the same way, because service excellence is not something we can fake. We cannot make it up.
No, it's not a switch.
It's not a switch you put on. It's either there or it's not there. And that is so why some people will say to you, they cannot be at the forefront. They have to be at the back.
Yes.
For example, some engineers will tell you, or will share with, why are you smiling so much? And I think because it's in me to be in that space,
yeah.
I treat everyone the way I want to be treated. So service excellence is really about not just training, but your mindset.
Yes.
How you want to be treated. And so wherever you go, you treat people with care, with love, and with empathy.
That is so true. We have a beautiful service culture in South Africa. And I think not just in spaces where you go, where you are being served, but I think South African culture as a whole, I think that's one of our standout points, our hospitality. Whether you're coming into our homes, or whether you're in our office, or whether you are at our hotels or attractions, that is the one thing you will feel. And I'm so glad you're going away with that.
Oh, yes. I keep saying to everyone I meet, why are South Africans so hospitable? Now, I am originally from the beautiful island of St. Lucia. And our hospitality, it's something that we are known for because tourism is our main income earner. I mean, this is what brings bread onto our table.
Yes.
But I have traveled from Southeast Asia to Europe. And yes, you will come across lovely people, very hospitable people. But I can't play a blind eye to the level of hospitality
That's beautiful.
that I am experiencing here.
That is beautiful. It warms my heart. It does. It does. Now, let's move on to team culture, right? And communication and burnout that we can experience in this very high-paced, intense industry that we work in. We've got intense delivery cycles in this environment, long hours, really tight timelines, and like we mentioned earlier, a lot of emotional investment. You know, we're very invested in what we do as an industry because we want to deliver to our attendees, to our stakeholders that are participating in our events. And obviously this can result in burnout and some real challenges with disengagement. So you've worked with teams all over the world. How can leaders build a strong culture, trust, and alignment while still delivering under pressure with your teams?
This comes from leaders who lead with clarity and care. When, as a leader, you can show your employees that you care, they will give more. And we are in a very high-pressured environment. So showing your teams that you care is the number one thing that you can give. Clarity is another. And third, very important, is open and consistent communication. We sometimes underestimate as leaders the value, the importance of communicating clearly and openly with our team members. When we communicate, and when I say communication, I am not referring to just speaking, but listening.
Yeah.
Listening not just to reply, but listening from a place of love.
What do you think are some of the signals that tells you as a leader that your team is heading towards burnout?
Frustration, and some of them are good enough to share, but one of the main signal would be fatigue.
Yeah.
An employee who's no longer aligned with your vision, the dreams of the organization or the goals of the organization, it's time to check in. Something is not happening or too much is happening.
Yeah.
And when you as a leader can identify or can see that something is up, because they will show us.
Yeah.
Suddenly an employee who was delivering high quality work, productivity at an all-time high, performance, suddenly is calling in sick, suddenly has a headache, suddenly something is not adding up. It is time to check in. The signs are there. The signals are there. And as a good leader, you will be able to have that vision and that foresight to see before it happens.
And going back to what you said earlier, then that brings me to that point, which will always stay with me now, to pause.
Yes.
Even in those intense times, as stressful as it is so important to pause, because you actually risk the entire project with non-delivery.
Exactly.
If you don't pause and address that moment, like you're saying, pause, reflect.
That's correct. And just to add to that, a key component is to lead by example, because we cannot pour out of empty cups.
Yeah.
And if your team member can see that you yourself will take time to inhale and to exhale, they will follow you.
Wonderful.
Because as a good leader, as a great leader, you yourself know when you're on the verge of burning out. And if you are on the verge of burning out and you can identify that and you can take a few steps, your team members will respect you for that.
Yes. Yes.
Because
is so
you're
true.
showing them that it's okay when you feel tired, when you feel you're at that place, to take that time to pause and to breathe.
Agree. And we neglect that. As leaders, we tend to neglect that because it's go, go, go. And we're constantly working at that pace. But taking the time to pause, filling your own cup as well. In leadership positions, you see it very often where leaders don't take the time to do that.
That's correct.
I mean, it's the same with your children, right? You lead by example.
Mm-hmm.
You lead by example. Now, let's look at the future of events in leadership. From a leadership and a people perspective, not just technology, right? What do you believe are the most significant things, significant changes, that is, shaping the future of the exhibition and events industry?
I believe that leaders who invest in emotional intelligence, adaptability, and continuous learning are the leaders that will move forward in the event industry. The human connection is at the heart of the event industry, and flexibility, adaptability, emotional intelligence, and continuous learning are the factors that will propel us forward.
Wow, that is amazing. I mean, we've talked about the skills that we need as leaders. I mean, we've gone through a lot of them that we should prioritize. I think that's great. But to add to that, how do you think leaders should be preparing their teams now for this more fluid, hybrid future? What do you think, some of the things you think we should be doing right now?
Open communication and investing in training. We underestimate the power of training. 21 statistics show that 21% of employees, their productivity and performance will increase after training, because you're empowering them to not only believe in themselves, but you're empowering them to believe in the culture of the organization. When you, as a company or as a leader, invest in your teams, you're telling them, I care.
Yeah.
I want you to learn. And not only learn, but I want you to grow. And not only grow as an individual, but as a collective.
Agree. Now, to your point earlier about filling your own cup as well, what are your thoughts on leaders themselves continuing their professional education as well? Because there's this constant need that we need to upskill our staff. But we have to admit that there are leadership skills and training that we ourselves need to update as well. Technology that we use to better manage our teams, to better manage our projects. Because like you said, we need to lead by example, right?
Great question. You cannot give what you do not have. And we are living in a very fast-paced, changing environment and the world at large, whether it's economic shifts or the change of AI.
Yes.
And I always say to teams and to leaders, in order to train your employees or in order to correct an employee, you need to know what you're talking about.
Yes.
And the only way to know what you're talking about is to invest in your own self as a leader. Yes, you may invest in training for your employees, but what are you doing to fill up your own cup? Constant reading, enhancing AI. How do you enhance AI as a leader? You need to know the basics. What is AI? It's a buzzword. We're all talking about it. As I always ask, we always say, take care of our team members, but who takes care of the leaders? We take care of ourselves. And taking care of ourselves means continuous learning, continuous investment in ourselves. I consider myself as a lifelong learner. This is one of the best ways to describe me. I am constantly reading. I am constantly engaging with people, whether it's through network events or team building, whatever it is. I urge leaders and I advise every leader to continue learning. And continuing to learn doesn't mean sitting in a classroom.
Yep.
It can be just reading a book. It can be keeping yourself abreast in terms of what's happening around the world. Although there's just so much noise these days, so we have to be careful.
That's true.
But continuous learning.
Yeah, that is so true.
And collaboration.
Another key point that we should address, I think, because that too is so important. It's so critical in a leadership space, because very often you might feel that you are operating alone. And that opportunity to collaborate, whether internally with the teams, with the industry at large, can be so enriching, right?
It is very enriching. As a business owner myself, one of the most fulfilling things for me is collaboration. And not only collaborating with my team internally, but externally. We tend to play a blind eye on the importance of collaboration. And as business leaders, we need to focus more on relationship building as opposed to transactions. We attend a business networking event and it's what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do next?
Exactly. Not about how was your week or what's exciting in your life.
Yep.
We need to learn to focus on relationship building and collaborating, because the only way we can rise is by lifting up each other.
Yes, I love that. I absolutely love that. Now, before we wrap up, for all our leaders in the industry listening to this conversation right now, what is one practical leadership shift or action they can implement immediately to lead more confidently, more humanly, and more effectively through change?
That would be for me to lead with intention. Lead purposefully. Before you leave your house in the morning, ask yourself, what am I going to give to someone else today? Because on any given day, neither you nor myself know what someone else is going through. And sometimes the team member with the biggest smile was just in a fight the night before. But the only way we can know that is to ensure that we give, and we give of ourselves. And giving of ourselves can be just a smile and asking our team members or someone else, how are they doing today?
I couldn't agree more. Wonderful. That I will definitely take with me. And I hope everybody that's listening today will take that with them too. You shared such passionate advice and tips and things that we could do that we need to take cognizance of. And I think it is so important for leaders within this space. And we really, really appreciate your insights and such thoughtful, practical advice.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being here with you. And for me, it's a conversation we can have all year round because it is so close to our hearts. We're both in the hospitality space, the event space, and in any industry, we're giving of ourselves. Yeah. And we tend to not even pay attention to how much we're giving. Yeah. We're mothers, we're wives, we're business owners. So we ought to embrace this opportunity, embrace the time, and continue filling our cups.
Thank you so much, Pam. Enjoy the rest of your stay in South Africa, and we hope to have you back here soon.
I will be back soon. I feel like I am an African. I'm so happy to be here.
You're part of the family.
Yes, I am. And I feel that way.
Wonderful. We feel very blessed to have you on Africa Event Connect today.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Well, to all our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to Africa Event Connect. If you enjoyed this conversation, if it resonated with you, please share it with your colleagues, with your teams, with your leadership, and collaborate on it. Particularly, share it with someone who's navigating change right now and is unsure about the uncertainty it presents. So until next time, stay connected, stay curious, and keep building an events industry that has clarity, confidence, and humanity. Thanks for joining us.